Extra pass. Deep three, Deontay Moselle, no. And a fight for it. How in the world did Dickens get that to go? And the foul. Woolen speeds. Here's Moselle. Corner three rolls in, and we are tied. We'll see Webb play later today. As Moselle inside lays it home. A tough contested two to tie it at 20.
Give the guy a chance to score some points at the end of the half.
Quick inbound right back to Huff. He steps into a three and buries it. Nice play design by the Maroons as George Wythe carries a 6-point lead into the half. Bearcats with it first here in the third quarter as they face this 6-point deficit. Thanks to a buzzer beater three there right before halftime by Shane Huff for the Maroons. Tayron Woolen, pull up, and there's a good start for Virginia High.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that had not scored as of yet, so him getting on the board kind of gets a little bit into the mind of George Wythe of this guy will take some shots. And
looked like Kurtner's shot was altered there. Now Tayron tries a three. Uh-oh. You mentioned needing someone to get hot, and Woolen scores 5 points in 39 seconds, and that's enough for Coach Dunford to take a timeout.
Virginia High, anytime you go into halftime, you have to make some adjustments. I think this is one of the adjustments that they've made is they've got to get some of the other guys some open looks. Woolen wide open there in the corner, and that's a designed play. He's able to kind of get loose down there and get set up to get into the scoring sheet. He created his first bucket there by driving into the mid-range and right at the foul line and rising up and hitting a little jumper there. And again, as you get more guys involved, it kind of spreads out the defense. George Wythe has to kind of make sure that they're keying on where everybody is. And we've seen that they're coming out scorching hot here in the second half.
So as we said, just with that 39-second spurt there by Woolen, he's already got more points than any Bearcat except for Deontay Moselle with those 13. So, you know, one of the stories for Virginia High in that first half was they shot the ball poorly, just 32% from the field, but 2 for 2 to start the third. Perhaps we'll see a little bit of a different flavor here from the team in white.
And some of those baskets that they missed in the first half were open shots that they will normally knock down. I would not look to see that 32% continue for the remainder of the game.
Maroons lead by 1 here in the third quarter. Saw some zone from Virginia High in the first half. Looks like they're switching man-to-man here. Kurtner pulls Lee out of there. Inside, a floater, and a bank shot goes for Braden Rainey. Not sure that's what he intended, but he gets it to go.
The interesting defensive set there by Virginia High, because you had Lee out away from the post defense, out on the perimeter.
Now Woolen fouled, holding his head. A couple free throws coming for Tayron as he's already scored the first 5. Watch the hit here. Right through his head to make a play on the ball there by Huff.
That's Huff's third foul there. He was under the impression that he had 4, so he was telling Coach, hey, that's 4 on me. But after it was announced that he had 3, what would have been a substitution for him was canceled.
Tayron Woolen, one of the key seniors on this Virginia High team. And he pulls the Bearcats back within 1. George Wythe has led for much of this game so far. Pull up by Trey Rainey, air ball. And here's the man of the quarter, Tayron Woolen. Moselle, floater. Bearcats lead by 1.
You couldn't design a better start to the second half for Virginia High than what they've gotten. Getting Woolen involved, and then Moselle continuing his hot shooting.
And here comes Keyshawn Smith off the miss. He's got Moselle with him. And Lee tips it home. Bearcats with some momentum here.
Lee showing off his athleticism, getting up and down the court, trailing that fast break on offense, and then getting back to set up this half-court defense.
Maroons looking for an answer. It's a corner three from Rainey. And a miss. Maybe it's just shooting on this end, Michael, that's the problem.
Seems that way so far.
Dickens left alone. And a rare miss by the Bearcats here in the third. In talking with CJ Manahan this week, he kind of went on a soliloquy earlier in the tournament about shooting on each of these ends, with this being a deeper with the stage and all that. And he says it is a little harder, but Kurtner able to find that one to tie it up at 31.
Yeah, I mean, there are different shooting lines. That's one of the reasons why you switch sides every half is, you know, based off of not just crowd and student section and things like that, but there are different sight lines, and it seems like the sight lines with the stage in the background are maybe affecting things a little bit differently. You've got the big screens over here on this side as well.
Another one in and out for Kurtner as Lee grabs a board. Tayron Woolen, nice step through, tapped by Lee, no. Dickens puts it home. And just so you know, Michael, CJ did say he preferred shooting up on the opposite side of the stage as well, so maybe something to that. Pull up as now Huff finds two to tie it back at 33. Maybe it just took a minute for the Maroons to settle it. Moselle, no. Now George Wythe is thinking about taking the lead. Deep two, good by Shane Huff.
Playing with 3 fouls, but picking up 4 points in this quarter so far, pulling George Wythe back ahead, showing his grit and determination.
Wasn't much offense in the first half, but it's totally flipped here in the third. Lee backing down. And a foul under the bucket. Holden Luttrell not pleased with the whistle.
And I think he's got an argument there. I think that was just battling for the basketball, but that'll be his third foul also.
Yeah, it looked like he might have got the arm there of Woolen, the forearm. So George Wythe in a little bit of foul trouble here. Several players with 3 fouls. Not too big of a deal yet. But if any of them pick up that fourth, it could affect play. Quickly in transition, Kurtner extends the George Wythe lead. Maroons back out in front by 4.
George Wythe had twice as many fouls as Virginia High in the first half, 8-4. And so they've got a couple of three guys now with 3 fouls apiece. Something to look out for. We'll see if the Virginia High Bearcats will attack some of those guys, as that was just a silly foul by Woolen.
His first. Watch him come right up here, and Kurtner, nice job by him. He kind of felt Tayron there. And a turnover, miscommunication. And as you see Shane Huff barking instructions to Rex Delp.
He expected Delp to be a little deeper in the corner.
Bearcats looking to cut into the lead. They feed the post. Lee goes to work. And great defense by Rainey to force the miss.
Lee's been struggling offensively this game, only with 6 points. And he's had some looks, just hasn't been able to get him to fall.
Deep three, Kurtner. Teams have gotten a little cold here. Dickens tries to change that. And another miss, but Keyshawn Smith puts it back. No, out of bounds. And George Wythe takes it back.
Virginia High didn't score any points at that possession, but they have continued the trend of their offensive rebounding. They have had second chance after second chance after third chance, and just not quite able to get that to fall, as that looked like it was off of George Wythe right there. Virginia High looked like they were.
I think Dickens might have touched it last. I'm not sure. I have to see it again. Kurtner inside, and a strong move. George Wythe leads by 6. You know, Michael, Virginia High came out hot to start, but George Wythe is taking it back here in the final minutes of the third. Lee, fadeaway. And not this time. That's a shot that he was making consistently against Sullivan East in their previous game. Kurtner off the pass. Another offensive rebound for the Maroons. Might they sit it out again here for the final minute of the third?
Wouldn't surprise me, especially being up 6, but.
Well, when you have that, you take it, right?
That's right. When you have a clear, wide open drive to the lane, as Huff does there, you take it, and it's been a Huff and Kurtner show as they've picked up all 13 points here in the second half so far.
All right, George Wythe up 8. We'll be right back. You're watching the Classic at Tennessee High.